Hi everyone. So my name is Grace Harrington Murdoch of flowersandstars.org, and I am here to talk about the article that goes around just about every year. It's kind of like clockwork, stating that there is a 13th sign, Ophiuchus, and I wanted to give an explanation from astrology about whether that's true or not. And it's actually been said that it didn't come from NASA, this particular article, which it states that it does, but NASA has since said that they did not talk about this at all. So that should give you a clue in that there's a little bit of misinterpretation, maybe a hoax type energy going on here. And so let's talk about it. So basically, in traditional astrology, the astrologers based the zodiac not on constellations, but on the four seasons. So when we're talking about traditional astrology, what the ancients knew is that the constellations would shift over time. And so they were looking for a way to create a system that was more static, if you will, that they could plan for. And so they had a debate about this. They knew that this was an issue, that the constellations would shift gradually over time. And so what they decided was that they were going to build the zodiac on the four major seasons, and then add in the constellations at exactly 30-degree intervals around those seasons. And so they basically, the sun as it moves into Aries, being at the spring equinox, was the first quarter of that season. And then we've got the summer solstice in Cancer is the second quarter. And then the third quarter, major quarter of the year, was considered in Libra at the fall equinox. And then you've got the winter solstice up in Capricorn as the sun moves into Capricorn. And this was the wheel that they determined would be the more static wheel that they would base the zodiac on. And so when we are talking about the zodiac, we're actually talking about seasons and not just about the astronomical constellations and where they exactly are in the sky. And they picked 12. And there's more constellations than this. So I believe I read somewhere that there's 88. So if there's a 13th sign, then there's, 13 to 88 signs as well. What the ancient astrologers decided was that they were going to pick the main 12 that were lined up with the wheel of the year in accordance with the season. So it's actually more tied to what we experience here on Earth as the seasons shift and move into those major turning points. So that's why it differs. One astrologer who I really like, I believe his name is Atuta Baba. I might be not doing his name justice, but he talks about this idea that astrology is not based exactly on astronomy. So it's not a one-to-one correlation. And as a result, astrology becomes a system of divination, like tarot cards, like runes, like reading tea leaves. Astrology has more of that vibe to it than an exact astronomical correlation. And so, there is types of astrology that are based more on the accurate position of the constellations as they are now and as they've moved. And there you're getting more into Vedic astrology, which is based on the sidereal system of astrology, versus what we're using in the West, which is the tropical version of astrology. So there's a difference there. And both systems, if you will, are different systems of divination. And so they both work. They both work because we are combining that knowledge of the seasons or the constellations, and we are combining them with intuition, and we are using these systems in these different sectors of astrology. So this is why, there is a difference between what you're seeing with these news articles and what traditional astrology really is. So I wanted to just do a quick education on that so that you don't get pulled into that as it comes around every year. I'm teaching a narrative astrology course right now, and I wanted my students to have a frame of reference and a video to share, and you're welcome to share this video as well so that people understand what this is all about and what it's based on. So, and just because astrology is a system of divination does not make it any less valuable. Divination has been used for thousands of years to help bring guidance, to help bring meaning, to help people really understand their lives. And when you actually dig into astrology, what you find is that there are so many archetypes that we can truly relate to and understand that bring a lot of meaning, direction, and focus into our lives. But if you were to dip into another type of astrology, you would find equal meaning. Stephen Forrest says it's every different type of astrology is like speaking another language, and you wouldn't throw another language out because it's different than your own. So we don't want to do that with astrology either. We want to have this cohesion, that there is a bigger body of work than what one type of astrology might be using than another. But you want to find the one that resonates the most with you. You want to find the one that comes after you in this lifetime. You want to find what really works for you, and then explore from there and see if there's any other systems that work as well. So just a little short video to talk about that and to let you know that astrologers were very aware of astronomy, but they were not as interested in the exact constellation placements, in that they didn't want to correlate it to that over time because they knew they would shift and they would move. So then you can look into sidereal interpretations of your chart to see how they've moved and where they fall in those charts if you want to be more exact astronomically, okay? But it's still not going to include the whole body of all of the constellations. Again, we're getting back to the root, which is the seasons of the year, and basing it off of that. So I hope that helps, and thank you for tuning in, and have a beautiful day.